Hey guys, it's Ed with Solomon's Landscape here. I just want to do a quick video. I know last time we left off, we talked about lawnmowers and some of the tips and tricks to get them ready for the springtime. So wanted to talk about sharpening blades. I know we said that that's definitely important. We would not talk about that in that video, so we're going to go ahead and talk about that this video today. There's a couple of ways to sharpen blades. I got a couple of sets of blades here that we can sharpen. Most homeowners may or may not have a grinder at home. We do use a grinder because it's a little bit faster for us because we have a number of blades to sharpen, so we use that. Another thing that most homeowners probably do have is a flat file. This will do the trick as well. It just takes a lot more time, a lot more effort, but again, you can still get the same results from this as this. Sometimes you also have people use side grinders, angle grinders, little hand compact ones. I believe we have one in here as well, hiding somewhere, but those can be used as well for sharpening blades. So before we get going here, one of the things we want to talk about is the blades. So when you look at the blade, this one has been sharpened, but unfortunately not well. I don't know if you can see, but there's an angle to the blade here. So as time in the blade, the grass, turns and spins and cuts the blades, this front edge gets dull. And so what happens is when it gets dull, sort of like when you're shaving with a dull razor, it doesn't do as well, leaves streaks, misses stuff, and then potentially cause abrasions, cuts, bruises. So you want to keep a sharp blade on the mowers at all times. We at our shop here do sharpen once a week. Usually is when we sharpen blades during the mowing season because we're cutting so much grass. It dulls the blades pretty fast. And so with that said, I mean, most homeowners should be able to do it once, twice a year. Maybe if you wanted to do 3 times a year, just depends on how much grass you really are cutting. But generally speaking, on most average typical lawns, you can get away with once, maybe twice a year. If you really have some thick grass or something like that, like a zoysia grass, potentially maybe a little bit more often. So again, we are going to talk about sharpening blades a little bit here. I'm going to adjust the camera so you can see what I'm doing a little bit. So just give me 1 second. All right. So as you can see, I got the blade here. We're going to show you basically, I'm going to step over to this side. So essentially I got my flat file here. And what I want to do if I'm using a flat file is just basically finding that same angle, just kind of putting the file on that same angle and just go down. Now you don't want to file back up because then it'll ruin the front. It only works really one way, so you want to go ahead and just file it. Like that. So basically just a nice even stroke, keeping the angle the same all the way through, and just kind of filing it and keep going again, making sure you're not pulling back because then it'll dull that front edge. So you just want to make sure that you keep filing in one direction only. And after doing that over a period of time, the other thing is to make sure you're finding a good file for that. But after that, then you should have a nice clean edge for that. So what I'm going to demonstrate for you now is the angle grinder. I know this blade is not quite sharp, so what I'm going to do is get it sharpened on the angle grinder here, or the bench grinder. I apologize, it's the bench grinder. Angle grinder is the one that you hold in your hand. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. But first, we got to make sure we're wearing safety glasses. These blades, even when you're using an angle grinder or a bench grinder, anything That's motorized safety glasses. You'll see on the video here in a minute that they'll throw sparks, and in fact you can see all this dust and debris here where it's much darker in this area than back here. It's because we keep grinding blades, and so this is actually just dust and particles of steel and also particles of the grinding blade. So you'll see that they will fly, and you'll see in the video that there are sparks and small pieces of steel and abrasive wheel flying everywhere. In fact, when you get done, typically you're dirty. You got stuff all over your front, on your pants, and so that's why you see all this debris. It's just because from the grinding over time. So, and it added pretty quick. So again, I'm going to go ahead and show you that right quick, but the same concept, using this as the hand file, making sure that you're keeping that same angle when you're grinding, and depending on the wheel, this one you can tell it's a little bit rounded because we've been using it so much, but essentially making sure that you get that blade, that angle correct, and keep that angle going across the same as well. So let me show you how that's done. And then we'll get back to the results. So we just finished up sharpening one side of the blade. This is what you would see beforehand. So let me show you. That's a blade that's not been sharpened properly. As you can see along the front edge, it may be a little bit difficult to see, but it's fairly flat up against this front edge, and that's what happens over time when the blades, it cuts, it gets flat and then torn. So especially in some places, like right in here, it's fairly flat. So then this is the sharpened one, and you can see that edge much smoother, much cleaner, and not nearly as flat. There's a little bit of flatness there, but it's still fairly sharp. Of course, the other thing is you don't want them too sharp because the edge will get damaged a little bit quicker. But that is essentially how you would sharpen blades. And then again, you see the profile or the angle we kept relatively the same. So that's what you want to do, is just kind of follow that angle as you go, and you can tell a little bit just from the end here that we have been using this a little bit. It's a newer blade, but as time goes on, if you don't keep that edge when you're sharpening, eventually you'll see over time, especially when you get older blades, that'll be affected, and that angle does affect how it performs and how it cuts. So again, that's sharpening blades, how you sharpen blades, and so hopefully that helps you guys that are stuck at home and looking to get your mower blade sharpened. So hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, concerns, drop them in the comments below, and we'll reply to them as soon as we can and as soon as we see them. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day. Until next time.